Welcome. We have a new edition of the Power Talks, and I am super stoked because we're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about investing. And I know for a fact, especially with the women I work with friends and family, women and investing, women and money, there's always something kind of off. Yeah. So today we are going to shift that. And on top of that, we're also going to learn why buying beautiful handbags is such a good idea. So welcome on this Power Talks, and I am here with Marsal Ghiasi. And Marsal is an amazing woman that I met a couple of months ago, and I said, you have to be on my Power Talks. She is a finance expert whose passion and mission is to motivate women to take a more active role in managing their investments. And she is currently writing a book on this topic and has over 12 years of experience in the finance industry. So she's not like, somebody thinking of something about investment. She has the professional experience in finance. Marshall holds both a master's and a bachelor's degree in finance-specific fields, including topics such as contrarian strategy. I have no clue what it is. She will have to explain us. Additionally, she runs a finance blog designed to inspire women to approach finance in an unconventional way, following the motto, invest like a diva. Marshall, welcome. I am so happy to have you here. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you that I'm here. I'm good. I'm a little bit, so I'm excited and very excited to talk about these topics, especially this is my first time that I'm talking in English about this topic. Usually, so when you look on my finance blog, so most of the time it's my native language German. And so therefore I'm so excited.
That's wonderful. Yeah, thank you for doing that because, by the way, we have another Power Talk with Diane Hayward about how women feel like a little bit stressed when they have to talk in a language that is not their native language. And actually, it's about just doing that. So if you are interested or anybody who is listening or watching this episode, just check that episode as well. It is available on the YouTube channel. So Marshall, what about handbags and finance? Tell us a little bit about that because that's basically your backstory, isn't it?
Yeah, to be honest, so my investment journey started with handbags, designer handbags. So actually, a lot of people start with taking classes or coming from rich family. To be obvious, my background, I'm a refugee kid. When we come to Germany, my parents were not so rich. So when I was a student, I decided to buy a designer bag. Yeah, and the funny thing is, I had a job beside of my study to earn extra money, and I was not thinking at that time about investing for my future. It was like, okay, let's earn money and spend it. So what I did, I bought a designer bag, and of course, it was a lot of money for me at that time. And after 5 years, I wanted again a new bag. So what I did, I thought, okay, let's sell my old bags to get some extra money and to buy another one. So what I saw then afterwards, that no one of my designer bags, so no one of my no-name bags I could sell, but my designer bags, the Louis Vuitton, the Speedy one, I could sell for the same price that I had paid 5 years ago. And in that moment, that was my wake-up call. And I understood, okay, this is how it feels investing. You buy something and save it for a couple of years and use it, and after a couple of years you sell it back for this almost the same price and even more. So for my Speedy, I got even more than I paid.
Wow.
So and that was at that moment, it was a click and change of my mindset, and then I started to invest in real estate. I bought my first apartment in Frankfurt. 5 years later, I bought another apartment in Frankfurt, and then I started. I were more confident. I started to invest on the stock markets, like buying shares, ETFs, And then 2021, I started with cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And now I have a portfolio of real estate, stocks, ETF, and designer bags.
Whoa.
So that was my,
That's amazing. I see that some people are coming in saying hi. Somebody said, I just sent you a message. I'm looking forward to your reply, but we didn't receive it here on the stream. So maybe you send it somewhere else. It's Marju. I hope I pronounced your name right. And Tina, I'm the only one hearing the clicking sound. I don't know. Is anybody else hearing it? This might be tech, might be the delay. We have been checking all video and audio, and this is what we can do. So, yeah, there's apparently something with the sound. And I know that I was informed that there was a problem with LinkedIn, with StreamYard, so maybe it has something to do with that. So hopefully we don't have this clicking sound in the replay.
Maybe
and
it's easier when
we can bring you a clean version.
What maybe helps when, I know that's a little bit tough, when you talk, then I put myself on mute, and then when I talk, you put yourself on mute. Maybe it helps. I don't know. Sometimes it helps.
Yeah, let's see if that works. Yeah, absolutely. But so, Marsal, you said that you started investing. Well, it was basically not an investment intention, but you started buying these designer bags. You had this epiphany, like, okay, I can use them. I can have, the joy of using it, and then I can sell it for at least the same money. And then you did real estate, crypto, etc. How did you get that information in order to know what to do? Was that something that you explored on your own, or did you have like a role model, or what did you do in order to understand more about this specific market?
Yes, so it was happened accidentally. So as I mentioned, it started with designer bags, not because I had a plan or an strategy behind of it. It was like accidentally when I needed money and I wanted to sell something. And then I thought, okay, okay, when I'm selling this designer bag, I'm getting the same price or even a little bit more. And then I understood, okay, this is how you can keep value over time. And then I started to think, how can you do that further? And then in my mind come then, okay, we can buy also real estate, because directly after finishing my study, it was only 6 months after finishing my study and I started with my new job, I decided to buy an apartment in Frankfurt. At that time, everybody said, oh my gosh, that's so much money. You're still a student. How can you do that? But I thought, okay, to buy an apartment in Frankfurt, especially when the price goes up in the last couple years, 20 years, and money is losing every time, every year value. So the best thing what you can do is investing in assets. And one of them was real estate. So designer bags is just for fun. I'm still doing it because when you look, for example, I have a Chanel bag. Yeah, if you bought the Chanel bag in 2010, and the price was around 2,500. Right now, the price are around more than 10,000. So when you have now the opportunity, so when you sell it, for example, when you bought this in 2010, and you want to sell it right now, then you can get around 5K for the bag, for the used bag, which is more than 14 years old, which is amazing because you don't get anywhere else, And so that was, as I mentioned, accidentally. And then, of course, I studied finance. So I did my bachelor's degree and I did also master's degree in typical finance topics. But to be honest, I had no clue how to invest in stock market. It was like, okay, I have the background, I did the study, but I had all the theory, but I had no clue how to do that in practical way. And to be honest, it's not a shame. There's so many women who are sophisticated, who have higher degrees, but they have no clue how to invest directly, actively her money or their money at the stock market. So what I did, I started to research to increase my interest, because the most important thing is mindset and interest. Because as soon as you have both, then you are starting to do researches and you're getting more and more confident. And that was my key, actually. And so that was the reason why I thought, okay, when you can do that, like in designer bags, you can do that with real estate. And then when I saw after 5 years, okay, the price of real estate, especially in Frankfurt, increased, I decided to buy another one. And to be honest, after now 10 years, I bought a house in Frankfurt, because over time, I built wealth over time. So then I could afford a house. What I'd like to say also, to add here, it's not to make money in a short time. It's about to understand how you can invest in long term and how you can invest smartly. It doesn't mean that you have to invest only in shares. It could be designer bags, it could be house, it could be your food, whatever. Because investing means you're creating value over time for yourself.
Yeah, I like that. Marsal, you said that basically it takes mindset and interest, right? When you look at women in general, I know there are exceptions, and you are a major exception. When you look at the mindset, it's like a lot of us are not really focused on, accumulating money and investing. We have like this kind of relationship with money that is different. We also have a lot less access to money. If you look at investors, if you look at entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs have a lot more challenge to get access to seed money, to venture capital, things like that. So what do you think is it that keeps us from like a healthy and sustainable relationship with money?
Yeah, this is a good question, and I think this is also an important question, because when you look, there's a lot of reason why we need to focus ourselves and also to learn and understand investing. Because first of all, it's financial independence. Yeah, it's many women stay in unhappy relationships or jobs because they are financially dependent on their partners. Second, gender pay gap. On average, women earn less money, or their salary is the salary of the men are higher than women, and that means we have less money to save and to invest. And then also maternity leave, career breaks. Women are more likely to take maternity leave, which have a huge impact on salary and also our retirement. And then also the most important thing that we always forget is longevity. Women tend to live longer than men. So that means we need more money to support ourselves during the retirement. So there are so many reasons which we need to think about it. But usually what we do, we say, our partner is taking care of that. Because in our mother, so in my case, in my family was like, okay, my dad was taking care of money, but when my mom started to take care of money, she did it much better. And the good thing is it's not unique. There's a lot of studies that shows that women are better investors than men, like Fidelity study, ING study, which was in 2019, found that women are less impulsive when investing, and the Fidelity study showed that women investment portfolios are actually much better than men's by about 0.4%. That might not sound like much, but over 20 or 30 years, it adds up to a lot,
Of course,
So there's so many reasons, so many points that we have to take to focus on that and starting to think about it, why we should invest our money. And it's actually not a big deal, as I mentioned, I learned everything step by step, and even if you have no clue how to do it, there's always an easy way if you understand the basics, and if you are willing to invest your money, then you will learn it definitely very quick.
Yeah. But you started very early, right? You were like in your late teens or early 20s when you started investing. What would be like a difference if you're investing or you start to do this when you're 35 or 40 or 45? Is there a difference?
Definitely. This is a good question because I have here an example which I prepared for myself. Let me look in my notes. Sometimes I didn't have here slides, but I have some numbers which you should
Yes, please.
If you invest, for example, 200 euro, it's just for illustration that everybody understands how huge is the impact. If you invest, for example, 200 euro a month, starting at the age of 20, by the time you retire at 65, you could have around 1.06 million, assuming an annual return of 8%. If you wait until age 40, I'm turning in 2 months 40, for example, when I'm waiting till now, start with 40, you would only have around 191,000 by retirement. Starting early makes a huge difference, over 870,000 euro in this case. You see how big is the difference.
That's amazing. Yes.
You can start, but it's still not. It's not too late. I started with 28. Started with also with 28 to buy my first apartment, etc. But on the stock market, I started with in 2020, so it was still late. But now I'm so happy that I did, because it's never too late. It's always the right time. Is, for example, right now. If you decide to do so, then please do it. Not wasting time, because as you see, how big is the difference if you start as soon as possible.
Yeah. So what mindset do you have to have if you want to invest? Because I can imagine that a lot of us say, I don't want to take that risk. It's safer to, to just keep the money in a safe place, and something in bonds or on a savings account where there's no risk. Although I guess there's a lot of risk there also if you think of it. But what kind of mindset do you need to start investment? What can you develop as,
of course, the most important thing is, of course, mindset. You should know that you don't need a finance degree to start investing, because I'm here an example. I had my major topics in finance, but I had no clue how to do that. The first thing what I did after my study, to Google it, how do I can buy stocks? Or what is exactly ETF, for example? There's no shame at all at this, because we just need to think about it. Okay, let's start. And that's not the and I would say it's a good question. In my case, it came accidentally, with designer bags, then real estate, and then I started to have the interest. And I think is when we as a woman understand that investing is something what we are good at it. It's not lack of skill, it's lack of confidence. We should be more confident. Therefore, I say invest like a diva, and this is how you can be a wonderful, beautiful woman. You can wear makeup, whatever, but you can still be a great investor. So in our family, my husband, for example, has no clue how to do that. He said, darling, you are good at it, please it's your role. And there's no typical role. So the problem is, when we look in our families, I would say in most families, the investing part will be done by the father, because we are, it's familiar for us. But the studies shows the opposite. The opposite means that we women are actually better in it, because we are more passionate, we're not impulsive, we think long term. And when women start investing money, then they won't understand in what they invest. And there's a lot of studies which show how differently women invest compared to men. But still, when we look at the numbers, for example, in Europe, it's still only 20% of women who's investing their money, which is it's too less, because 40% of the global wealth belongs to women, but still 20% of them investing actively on the stock market.
Exactly, because we have a lot of decision-making power on what we do with our money, right? And then, of course, I believe that when you look at finance traditionally and historically and in our education, most of the time it has been run by the men. They had responsibility. They were the ones in charge. And also money and finance and numbers and profit is something kind of masculine, yeah. So I think that based on that, we have been imprinted in our mind and in our mindset that this is not something for us actually. Yeah. And I can only imagine also that women do it differently because when you look at, I mean, there's this movie like Wall Street, and there's a lot of other similar movies like how men invest and how it gets to, and no, I mean, no judgment in general, but how it's all about the greed and the short-term revenue and not being ethical. And those are things that we as women, we step away from that. We don't like that experience or that image. And so those are all elements for me that make it a little bit more challenging for women to just be open and curious and courageous in order to step into that. But then when I hear you, when you say, yeah, it's kind of easy, you just have to make that first move and start small and slowly, then I believe, yeah, there's a lot of improvement, absolutely. If you say that we're only 20% of us investing, then it would be nice if we could go to the 100%. Even if we feel that we have no money to invest, there's always a possibility to, to do so, right?
True, and that's why I create Finance for Divas, to make a community of all women who has the interest to invest their money, who wants to have knowledge in that area, and also writing a book trying to show the investment, to showing the finance world, investment world in a more easy way. It shouldn't be complicated, because usually when we start to think, okay, I would like to invest my money, I need to read some book, I need to get some knowledge, everybody thinks, okay, that's too complicated, and also too risky, it's nothing for me. And then people are not confident, so especially women are not confident enough in saying, no, so even usually women are earning less money and then have also less money to invest and for savings. So therefore we are very confident and then have fear to take the first step. And this is the most important thing, to take the first step. Most of us, so when I talk with other women, when they saying, I would like to invest my money, I would like to invest my money in different kind of assets like SAS, or ETFs, or mutual funds, or stocks, whatever, but I don't know how to do the first step. And this is the biggest problem, because they don't have, there's a lot of women, they have no clue, okay, what do I need? What do I need exactly to do? Should I go to a bank, or should I need a financial advisor? No, you don't need nothing of them. You just need a broker account, and starting to understand which assets is something which is appropriate for beginners. And there's a lot of, I'm not allowed to say that right now here, but because of my background, but on my Instagram page you can see a lot of advices how you can start. So one of the titles in my book is, for example, how do I start investing step by step? And this is something what I'm trying to share my knowledge, and also, yes, to motivate, to encourage women that this is nothing, it's not a big deal, and you cannot make a mistake in that case. The biggest mistake is actually to wait and thinking, I will do that later. This is the biggest mistake.
Yeah. Because if you say I will do it later, chances are you will never do it. Yeah. And are there other fun investment objects, like you started with handbags? Are there other fun investment objects where women can say, yeah, well, you know what? Even if I'm a little bit, if I'm a little bit reluctant, this object is so good for me that I'm going to do it anyway.
Did I understand you if there's other kind of funny objects yes
Yes,
for investing? Yeah,
exactly.
there's some, for example, whiskey or
Oh,
watches.
really?
Some people are
Yeah.
investing watches, or some people investing in shoes. And you should just understand in what you're investing. Even if you go to the stock market and invest in a stock, you should understand what kind of business model this company do. For example, my
Mhm.
first stock was the LVMH stock, because I was already familiar with the luxuries
Yeah.
area and then industry. Then I understood, okay, let's look which stock would do I understand the company, the business model, and I know how it is. So in Frankfurt, there's a big queue in front of the Louis Vuitton store, for example, yeah,
Mm,
and I know what kind of revenues they have. So for me was okay. I would like to be investor of such a company. So I started to invest in LVMH. In German, we say LVMH. And then, yes, and there's also mutual funds, ETFs, it's a bundle of companies, like it's which
mhm.
you can also, when you don't want to um, invest in a one in stock which represent one company, you can
Yeah.
also take an ETF, for example, which is also represent around 1,600 companies that you look
Mhm.
at the MSCI World one. So
Yeah.
there's
So you
a
split
lot of
your risk more.
opportunities,
Yeah.
and yeah, so the
Mhm.
biggest is not to start, and
Yeah.
it's sooner you start, the better is it for your retirement.
Yeah. Absolutely. Bianca has joined us. Bianca Hoffman, welcome. And she says that you encourages them that it is possible to invest with small amounts and that we should dare. So there's somebody of your inner circle that has
Yeah,
apparently learned that
yeah,
lesson.
because
There's some other,
I get
yeah.
always a lot of question. Yeah, does it make sense to invest also when you start with 20 or 50 euro per month? Yes, it's always.
Mhm.
For example, I motivated my small sister. She's around 21. I motivated her now start, please, because in 20 years, you will thank me. And therefore, if it's just small, it's not just because of money, it's because of mindset and the learning process. When you
Yeah.
start with small amount of money, the biggest advantage is also you understand also the investment world. You know how to act in this world, and then you get a better understanding and you get more and more confident. As soon you get more and more confident, then you will do then bigger steps, and with
Mhm.
bigger steps you see then also bigger results.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, Marcel? I am also thinking, even if you are older, but you have daughters, it's also good to know that you are a role
Sons.
model and that they look at you and they look what you are doing. And maybe you can do things together. I mean, it can be like a fun way of connecting with your daughters who are, I don't know, 15, 16, and start doing these things together and learning both. Because what you are doing now can be a very beautiful example for your daughters in order to start young, right? What do you think
True.
of that?
I have two sons, 5 years and 10 years old, and my two sons. So I have
Mhm.
different kind of broker accounts. So I have one for our family. I have one for me myself, which is just my money that I'm investing, and I have also accounts for my sons. When they're turning 16, I'm gonna start to show them, because this is the unfortunately one thing that you are not learning at school, how to invest. And I
Mhm.
will do that because it's actually not a big deal. And so funny, I'm getting so many messages in Visada in parallel. So so that's great if you start then to encourage your kids in early age, because as I already showed the one example, when you start with 20, you get millionaire after, and when you retire, you get millionaire. That's the true.
Yeah.
It's not something that is coming. I just say that there's a lot of studies that showing
Mhm.
that. So so therefore, I'm also trying to be a role model, not only for my kids, also for my husband, because my husband is relying on me, and he's saying, okay, both of us, we are earning money. My husband has a job, he's a doctor, and I have a job, and then I saying, okay, let me do the investment part because I'm good at it, and I can also teach my children. And I do that in a very easy way because, of course, you can do that in complicated, sophisticated way to explain is finance work, because everybody, when they start thinking about finance, everybody thinks, okay, that's too complicated for me. But I'm starting right now with my kids. He is 10.
Mhm.
I'm trying. First thing what I ask him, what is? Please explain me what is this word investment? How would you understand this? Because in my case, I learned it very late when I bought my designer bags.
Mm.
I understood, okay, when you buy something and you have it over time, and it's built value, and afterwards you can still sell it for the same value or even more. And this is the one click in your when it's changed your mindset.
Yeah,
And this
in the
is what I'm
consumption
trying out to do.
society that we live now, right? Yeah, where we feel like whatever we buy, we throw away, and it's of no value. So I think as a lesson also for ourselves and for children, it's very valuable as
Exactly,
such.
exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. It's about being more
Yeah,
aware of what you buy, and
yeah,
instead of buying things all the time, just be very intentional. If we're talking about the bags or the watches or the shoes or things like that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
yes, true. That's
beautiful.
true. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So let's see how
What
it.
other advice would you give for the ones that are on the edge and say, yeah, maybe? What would be like a very good motivator that we haven't mentioned yet?
Yeah, so I mentioned it a few times, but I think it's always good to say it. So my advice to every woman, also to every man, is out there is start today. Yeah, even if it's a small amount, the key is to take the first step. Investing is it isn't just about money. It's about building confidence, creating freedom, giving yourself power of choosing the life you want. Because
Yeah,
after a while you will have, and trust me, once you see the money grow, you will never look back. So
yeah,
this is what I always say to everyone, and
yeah,
trying to encourage and motivate people. Please don't not hesitate, or don't have the fear not investing.
yeah. When you
And
say start today, before everybody now is opening, the computer and start to watch designer badges, I think that maybe a good idea is also to say, because you were talking about the broker account, like if that would be a first step, how can one open a broker account? How does
yeah,
that work?
so a couple years ago it was quite difficult, very complicated, but now we have a lot of neo brokers, and I'm not sure. So in Germany, it's very popular, Trade Republic and Scalable and Zero. These are very intuitive broker accounts that you can. They also have some um, hints how to use it, and it's very user friendly, to be honest. So I have also a flatex broker account, because sometimes there's some shares that I would like to buy from specific stock exchange markets, because you don't have this opportunity in the other broker accounts to choose the stock market. Yes, the exchange stock market. I hope I pronounce it correctly. But today it's not a big deal. So when you know which broker account, I don't know, because I think we have here audience from all the world, but when I'm speaking for Germany, there's a lot, and it's not a big deal. You can make it with your mobile, you can just open, and the first steps, they have also some introductions and also overviews how to invest your money for the beginners, and etc. And also there's also a lot of nice books or YouTube channels. I know just more and more German YouTube channels, but also, for example, my Finance for Divas channel is also um, something like which I'm trying to explain complicated processes with images, with pictures, because but you get it immediately, you understand it immediately, and afterwards, this is the style how I'm writing my book. So in my book, you see also a lot of images which shows and explain the complex process, the complicated process.
Yeah.
And I think if the people start to have interest, they will always find the way how to start. It's not a big deal. So I will always recommend, if you want to start, the first step, you need to open a broker account. As soon as you have a broker account, then you have to inform you and decide how you want to invest.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of options.
Stock and things like that, right? Marsal, your Instagram account that is very, very educative is in German. Your book is also going to be in German. Do you have plans to translate it?
So my publisher is Springer Nature publisher, which is actually, it's not a German publisher. It's more known worldwide. So in the contract, we also talked about if it's when I publish it in German, also to publish it in English, because yes, it's a topic that I think the interest is overall in the world. It's not just in Germany. And this is also very unique because I'm writing in a very, very simple language, and you can definitely translate it also easily in English in a simply language, I'm pretty sure. But we will see how it works, and hopefully I can publish it also in English.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I want to know. I want to hear from that if you publish it in English. But anyway, people that are interested, they can connect with you, I guess. They can go to Finance for Divas on Instagram. They can connect directly with you there, because it's not because the information is in German, they cannot have, interaction with you in English. If they want to find out more, if they need support, encouragement, or some more
Definitely.
tips.
So when the people have some question, they can contact me directly, because the thing is, through some restriction and compliance reasons, I'm not to talk officially about which kind of assets, it's because I'm working for an international investment company. I'm working not in the investment department, but nevertheless, there are some rules that I have to be aligned with it. And so therefore, but my Instagram account, I'm trying to be a role model, to motivate, to inspire people, and also to show that you shouldn't be, it's not necessary you haven't be a typical nerd. You can be a diva, a wonderful, beautiful woman who has this knowledge, and also it doesn't, there's no difference between man and woman. So when you're a man, of course, usually men have more interest in finance topics, but as soon women start to increase their interest, I'm pretty sure that they will see that they're really good at it, and that they don't need to have any fears or anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, have a look at Finance for Divas, because even if you're not really convinced now, which I guess you should, well, nobody should, but I mean, we brought a lot of arguments. It's a beautiful Instagram account, and you can see the designer bags and beautiful things. So anyway, you will find something that you like. So have a look there and connect with Marsal. We have Renata. Lovely to join this live webinar. Renata, hi. If you just jumped in, because we're like kind of closing here, but that's okay, because the replay is available on LinkedIn and on YouTube. So we will make sure that all the information also to connect with Marsal is there. And what I keep from this episode, Marsal, is that it's never too late, which is an important one, and that we have the capacities and the skills to do that. And I am aware that it is not a competition. It's not like we are better than men, but we are good as such in order to start this new adventure, or this new journey of investment. And it's a very important thing to have our financial independence. And if it's not only for us, it's also for our families or our communities. It's something that we can teach our daughters, because we are role models also for our children, or our sons, of course. We are role models for our children, so there's like no reason not to do this. Wonderful. And I thank you so much also for bringing this in such a, in such a open and honest way, that it's not really complicated. It's not something that we have to be afraid of. It's not something that we are not able to do. So thank you so much for being here and for bringing this to us.
Thank you that I'm here and could talk about all my passion, because it's really my passion to encourage, to inspire women, and also to show that it's not necessary, you don't have to come from a rich family. How, for example, in my case, I told you already, I came from as a refugee kid to Germany, and you don't need a finance degree or something like that. You can learn it step by step by yourself, if as soon you have the interest and the right mindset. And also, it's also a beautiful opportunity to be a role model for your kids, because I think for my kids it's much easier when I'm sitting with my son and trying to explain to them how to do that than my husband, because I think everybody has their own style, and it's always nice when the kids see in the family, okay, I can ask also the such question also my mom, and this I'm trying to be a role model, and I'm trying to inspire other women and show that there is no secret behind of it. Just therefore, I'm saying invest like a diva, be confident, just try it, and you will learn it step by step. The biggest mistake is not to start or to have the fear that you are not able to learn it.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Marsal. It was an honor to have you here and to learn more about this and to share this with our audiences. And I can't wait to hear feedback from people that started or made that first step, or that have found a role model or found somebody that can advise them, so they feel a bit safer. But as I said, go to Finance for Divas and you find a lot there that is also beautifully styled. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you so
Later.
much, Helena. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.